Hey, it's About Town Deb and Tabnie. Tabnie, I'm going to let you do the intros because I am coming back from, a little bit of healing. So I'm going to let you take over for right now.
Well, here we are with another marvelous episode of City Talk presented by About Town Deb. You must love me enough to be a guest yet again, my lady. And I'm so thrilled. We're talking about asking for help. We're talking about pausing, accepting support in a time of need, and also catching up on our businesses as we're two awesome boss babe entrepreneurs. I'm looking forward to it.
In Nevada near the silver mines, there's a kind-hearted woman. She's looking so fine, always taking care of her community. Bringing folks together is her cup of tea. She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
Welcome to City Talk. It's About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy, your host. As you can see, I'm not in studio again. I'm resting and recovering at home. So if I have to cough or I have to take a moment, that's okay. We're keeping it real. And thank you to my amazing, beautiful, award-winning journalist, freelance media specialist, expert, consultant, and the most important part, she's a storyteller and my friend. And Tabnie Dozier, Emmy Award-winning, but it's really not about that. It's about her heart and her soul. And I needed help this week. I was thinking, do I do a best of? I really didn't want to. And I'm a week out of my surgery. And I'm just exhausted. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to not see you guys. I wanted to let you know that I'm so grateful for everything you've been doing to keep me going. And to my sponsors for Crystal Basin Cellars and Kim Surratt, and to Christian, who's able to do these remotes so that I could be here with you. And he's in Sparks, Nevada at the Musicians Rehearsal Center, so I'm grateful for them. And really, I'm just going to start with my quote, and then I'm going to say a little bit about Tabnie and why I'm happy she's going to help me today. So my quote today, the first one, was very simple and short. Rest and be thankful. By William Wordsworth. Rest and be thankful. Thankful is a really easy thing for me to do because I'm constantly thanking people. I've grown up with those manners of thank you and you're welcome and, bless you and excuse me. Those are all things that I grew up with. So that's a no-brainer for me. I'll say I'm sorry before I even know I did anything. It's crazy how you do that. But I think the rest part is the hardest for me. So this week when I was making that decision, Tabnie and I both she was going to do the show that we were going to usually record on Tuesday, and today's Monday. And Tabnie's heading off again on her worldwide adventures as she's sharing stories and helping people tell their stories. And she made that decision to make that switch. And man, she made that decision and she took off like a rocket. She had a plan. She made a business plan. She had her mission statement. She had her website up. She had her contacts and she knew who she was going to call. And she just did it. Well, it doesn't help that she's a young, beautiful woman and smart. And I'm like in my 60s, a little bit hard to start all the way over. But so that's why this show is really important to me, because I asked for help. I said, Tabnie, I know you're heading out of town. What can you do? What is the time you could help? She said, I have 1 hour on, is it Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday.
I don't even know what date. I already know what day it is. See, I could off Tuesday. So yeah. I have it from 10 to 11. I said, Christian, help. Mm-hmm. We have 10 to 11. He said, we'll make it happen. So Tabnie, I'm going to let you take it over and tell a little bit more about yourself and just thank you. Because all this, just what I've said right now, I already feel that I'm getting winded. So I'm going to let you take it over and kind of lay the groundwork of what our segments are going to be about today.
Absolutely. Well, first, I just, am sending you healing blessings and grace as you continue to navigate this. You've done a great job with being, vocal as much as you can on social media to keep your viewers and supporters updated. I think that's great. And, you mentioned your age a lot, Deb, but your perspective is to me even more important. I mean, because a lot of people your age won't even try. Okay. So I want you to recognize how important your platform is, because it is never too late to pivot. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, and they need to hear that from you. So do not wear that as I'm kind of late. Baby, you right on time.
But see, we didn't plan this, guys. That's why I love this show. So when I look at you and I watch you and I see your energy and I see your strength, and it gives me strength. And I was sitting, finally watched a movie, and I wish I can remember the name of the movie, but there was a gal my age who was ready to rethink what she wanted to do. And this young gal was going to drive her across country because she needed to get to a doctor's appointment. And she always had drivers, and she was like a famous actress. And the young gal looked like Amber Hale, who is one of our co-hosts. And I looked and I said, wow, like that gal was probably like Amber. She was like 24, and the gal was probably in her 60s. And they had only met once before because she was an actress, and this young gal was teaching her how to swim for a scene. And now they get thrown together again because her driver couldn't drive. So she gets, she's usually in fancy cars, and now she's in like this van kind of like an adventure kind of car with a like sports equipment on top. And she's with this young gal listening to different kind of music, but she had an old soul like Amber. And I was watching it going, I am so blessed, because in the media world and in our social media world and in the journalism, I get to see so many people. And Amber and you, Tabnie, are two of those young women who give me hope. It's like I'm riding alongside your dreams. So I told you, I'm really emotional. But thank you. And I want to thank Amber to be listening and tell her thank you for taking me along her journey, and thank you for you letting me watch and go along your journey. So we're going to take a break, and I'll get over this mushiness, and we come back. I'm just going to let Tabby take it over, and I'm going to sip on tea. Be right back. Bowtown Deb and Tabnie.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to City Talk. It's About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy, and my beautiful and talented co-host for today, Tabnie Dozier, Emmy Award-winning journalist, but I don't even think about that. She is my friend and a storyteller. And the more I see her and watch her tell everybody's stories, I think she was supposed to be telling my story. Yes. So, we all get brought together for a reason. And the first time I saw Tabnie, I knew that moment she was special and she was going to be a part of my life, like I knew with Amber. Both of them are young women, entrepreneurs who just have these old souls that care about life and kindness and people. And I've been blessed to have them. So I'm going to do a quote, and then I'm going to sit back and let Tabnie talk about her experience with acceptance and gifts and her travels. So here's the quote. We've learned about gratitude and humility, that so many people had a hand in our success. And I feel that without the women and men and community and family and neighbors and friends and people I'm going to meet, you are the people that have contributed to me on my journey. So thank you. And I'm handing it over to Tabnie. And please share about your experiences, because I know you've been quite busy, and just share your excitement with us.
Yeah. Well, Deb, let me start first before we jump into TDE, to Tabnie Dozier Enterprises. Of course, my background is a local news anchor, and I retired after almost 12 years in that realm across 3 different states. Northern Nevada is really special to me because going through a pandemic, going through grief. I've had some monumental and unforgettable moments here. And so at the beginning of COVID, okay, when people were a lot friendlier, right? And you remember they were making meals for hospital and first responders and journalists. We are first responders. So our work never stopped and actually intensified as the world shut down. Deb, viewers throughout Northern Nevada and California knitted me like this very cardigan I have. A viewer knitted me this. And she said, I've just been taking up crochet because we're inside. And is there anything I can do for you? And I'm like, no, well, I want to. And I said, well, I am always cold in the studio. You know, the newsroom, you've been in there a lot. They're always freezing cold. And people sent homemade masks, homemade masks to the staff. It was overwhelming. I had such gratitude. And so you were experiencing that now. I saw your cousin make a post. Hey, is it Georgia?
Yes, it's Georgia.
Yes. This is Georgia giving you an update on Deb. And I glanced in the comments because, Lord, I could have been there all day. We're praying for you, Deb. We love you, Deb. What do you need? Even I told you, I said, well, look, holler if you want me to bring some soup and you want me to drop some food off. And then we're not always receptive to gifts, receptive to help, receptive to support. And I just wanted to share that with you, that I know that feeling in a different capacity. It wasn't a health concern. It was a global public health crisis. But Northern Nevada rallied behind us as local news journalists, giving them critical information, especially at the beginning stages when we were unsure. We didn't really know all the details about the coronavirus. Baby, they looked out for us and they're looking out for you. So I just want you to resonate. That goes great with that quote that you mentioned.
I know. It always works out that way. But I thank you for that.
Yes,
I'm accepting your graciousness, but I'd love you to share more about what you've been doing, how you've experienced it. Because, man, they have to check out your social media because you are like Wonder Woman. So continue.
Yes, thank you so much. So Tabnie Dozier Enterprises is an eloquent and effective media company. It serves individuals, brands, and corporations by amplifying storytelling and improving communication skills. So whether it's public speaking training, you know, a lot of people have a fear of talking in front of crowds or going on camera. I can help with that with individualized sessions. Of course, the storytelling, which is my favorite, whether it's written blogs or visual. You want a piece that has my voice under it and video on your website or on your social media. Event planning and hosting. I love being behind a mic in the community. And you can book me for, private birthdays and retirement parties, all the way to nonprofit funds, fundraisers, galas, or staff appreciation ceremonies, whenever you just need a host to guide your crowd through. And I do some press release distribution. I'm not getting myself pigeonholed into PR, but I cannot deny my experience in newsrooms and being able to help get those press releases in the right eyes, in front of the right eyes. And so, Deb, this is just taking off quicker than I can keep up. I'm building a bi-coastal media company. As you said, I'm on my way to Louisville, Kentucky again. February.
So what's happening there?
Oh my goodness, there's a sneaker ball. And so a sneaker ball is when you're super dolled up, the ladies are in dresses, men are, in gala attire, but you have cool kicks on the bottom, which, hello, that's a woman's dream. What are we talking about? Not having to wear high heels for 3
I get that.
And so the special keynote speaker is Deion Sanders, retired NFL superstar.
Whoa.
Yes. And I will be there getting interviews. I'm working with Black-owned magazine in Louisville, who's hired me on a monthly retainer. In February, I was in Fenix, Super Bowl weekend. I didn't go to the game, but I had a client who is a retired NFL player, and so able to navigate those spaces. I'm looking to, gather more stories and tell stories that otherwise would not be told. And Deb, just, walking this path now in my own validity, as my own entity and my own brand, is the most fulfilling that I've ever felt. And I was very fulfilled in news. So God is blowing my mind. And so it's been great. And getting booked out here. I've got an event in April at the GSR that, I'm working with Amplified Entertainment.
I love that.
Yeah, Ken. Shout out to Ken. Love that crew. And so he has assigned me to his roster as an MC. So this area can book me if they want a host. I am the first Black woman MC in their company's history. Come on.
Well, that says a lot right there.
Come on.
I'm
History.
glad it's you.
I love it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, Amplified is going great. I'm doing some testimonials with their clients to continue to spread the word about, whether it's DJ services, lighting, stage kits, whatever you need for your event, models. So Deb, with Amplified Entertainment, word of mouth is, of course, with any entity, word of mouth is the best advertising. So Amplified has me talking to its existing clients who have had past successful events. And those interviews are Testimonial Tuesdays with Tabnie. And they go on Amplified's Instagram and Facebook pages to spread the word, because you may not need a DJ, host, or models. You may need support in terms of lighting and some staging equipment for an event that you're putting on. And so that's just a wonderful way to spread the word that way. And so, Deb, this journey has been incredible. Everyone's like, are you moving back to Kentucky? Well, Northern Nevada keeps its arms around me so well. It's been incredible to build it out here and then go re-enter Louisville, Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana, and familiar markets, and of course, home areas, and spread the word on that side of the country as well. But this has been a great foundation for me. I'm overjoyed. I'm overwhelmed. I am so grateful and blessed. So moving forward, I'm definitely in a space where ready to bring some staff on. I'm a multifaceted, multi-service media company, and I'm solo. So it is time, as with growth, to get some support. And then also University of Nevada has reached out and talked about returns. And Deb, I have got to pay it forward. And I am so thrilled to look into the fall semester and get me at least a couple of interns, because they don't just have to major in journalism. They could be mass communications, they could be PR and marketing, because I'm doing so many realms that they don't just have to be local news or, want to go into print.
Right.
So I've got to pay it forward and help who I think of the younger Tabnies who are just getting their feet wet. And so I'm looking forward to that. So there's my update. Sorry to hog the mic, but gosh, there's so much going on since the last time I saw you.
Well, why do you think I wanted you to be the host today? Because I'm trying to sit back and I'm trying to let other people share their stories and their successes, so I can, just gaze up at you and say thank you and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure how many minutes we have left, but I do want to, since we're talking about, acceptance, I really had to sit back when I got home and like with Georgia saying, hey, Deb, can I get this? Can I do this? And friends were saying, can I bring you food? Well, I can't really eat yet. But I had a really good friend, Katrina, who brought me homemade bone broth. And I mean, oh my gosh, I'm not a big bone broth from the store or chicken broth. This was the most, and it was made with love. And she had it was already frozen for me, 3 big chunks of it. So I've been drinking a lot of bone broth, which is healthy for you. And I'm slowly getting into, I've been eating a lot of baby food because I have to make it really thin, and split pea soup with bone broth in it. And it's funny, you take for granted how easy it is just put food in your mouth and chew and eat and drink. I literally have to take baby sips and then suck. And then it takes me over 2 hours to drink that. So, it's learning my limitations, and it's learning to accept those limitations like I'm doing now, and to ask for help. And I know that if you want to help somebody out there, that you have a friend who's going through surgery or going through a time, the best thing is just check on them and ask them. And they're going to be bored. So if they're technical people, man, you can get them some Amazon, movies or gift cards. You can get them, something that they could get movies on their iPad or their tablet. So there's lots of ways you can help your fellow friends as they're recovering. So we're going to take our last break. And then I'm sure Tabnie has a little bit more to say about what she's up to. So we'll be right back. It's About Time Deb and Tabnie. Stay tuned.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
You know that's what she said. Come on, let's have some fun with About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. It's About Town Deb and Tabnie with City Talk. As you can see, I am at home because I'm recuperating. It's a week out of my surgery, and it's a 6-week recovery. So I've only made it a week. Well, it's a big deal to make it a week, but I've made it a week because of family and friends in our community. So as we were saying, when it's hard to ask for help. And so Jazzy Georgia, my cousin, who's here all the time, she's like, Deb, I'm going to be there. Like, she literally, got me to she met me at the hospital. She stayed there. She made sure I went into the surgery. She was there when I got out, and I had to stay the night. So she made sure that my son was coming to relieve her. So everybody worked together as a team to make sure that I didn't feel like I was alone, which is really important because when you're going through any kind of illness or any kind of surgery, now you can't have visitors very much in the beginning, so you're kind of like, okay, they just took me back here and I hope I make it out. So it's really important to accept that acceptance and say, yeah, I go, Georgia, thank you. And then she went grocery shopping. I'm like, ugh, I didn't want her to have to do that. And she had to pick up my medicine, and she had to bring me my bone broth. And I was upstairs. I couldn't even do the stairs. And I just felt so oh my gosh, she's probably bored. She's sitting, I'm in bed, and she's, helping around the house. And I thought, okay, Deb, it's okay. I was so worried about how she was doing that I really had to just accept it and say, okay, I'll go take a nap. I'm good. And it was hard for me just to go rest, knowing that she was helping keep things going on the outside for me. And I really had to do that. And she did laundry and she did dishes, and my neighbors came over, and I had, Tabby's going to talk about handwritten notes, and I had flowers and stuffed animals and calls and texts. And most people knew that I needed to rest. So it's really nice that you should check with a family member and say, hey, when is a good time to visit them? Because, I really didn't feel like visitors the first 2 days. I really didn't. And today was the first day that I actually put on a top instead of a PJ and leggings. And I still have my slippers on and put my hair up and actually curled this. And just doing that this morning, I'm exhausted. And last night I looked at my incisions, and I hadn't looked at them. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have staples in my stomach. I didn't even realize there were staples in there. No wonder why they're telling me don't lift and rest. So you have to really listen to the why. I got this. And my neighbor came over. I'm reaching up to get something. And Georgia, stop. I'm like, what? She goes, you can't lift or reach. Stop. But you're so used to being you. And I feel guilty. And I'm sure you guys do, because on the outside, I'm actually losing a little weight. I'm feeling better. But on the inside, I'm hurting like heck. Mm-hmm. And I'm out of breath. And I can't do this and I can't do that. But when you see me, you think, oh, she looks great. Yeah, well, thank you. But on the inside, I'm not great. So I have to realize that I need to take that time. And please, if you're out there and you're trying to recover, even if it's, even if it's something, it doesn't have to be a surgery. You could be in a depression. You could be in any kind of mode, or you just lost somebody. Take that time, and you need to heal. You need to take that time. And that is why today on the show, I have Tabnie, so that I can do that. And let people, offer them something you could do when they get well. Oh, when you're better, let's go to the movies. Can I take you to your follow-up appointment? Do you need any books? It's the simple things. Or just to text them and say, I know you're exhausted. I just want to let you know I'm thinking about you. What can I do? And when they say, what can I do? They mean it. They really mean it. Like when Tabnie said, I can do this. I have 1 hour. I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. I know she's only 1 hour, but I'm going to take it. And, when Georgia said, I'm staying the week. Okay, thank you. Stay the week. And I'm going to reach out because I need help on social. I haven't even been on my social because I don't even have the energy to think. It's like right after I finish this show, I'm going to be back in bed. So we just need to say, yeah. And I'm going to reach out and say, I need help with social. I don't even feel like posting. But so that's where I'm at. But Grandma B as well. I want to thank my family for being there and calling me. And she's going through she's not on her 100% right now. Got a little ear thing going on. And yet even through that, she's been worrying about me. So I'm worried about her. She's worried about me. We don't want to tell each other we want to be perky and positive. So it's okay to tell somebody you're not feeling good. It's okay. So remember, it's okay to say, I'm having a crappy day. My chest hurts today. I don't want to eat today. I need you to come visit me, or I need you to sleep today. It's okay. Do what you need to do to heal your inside. So that's my little lecture for you today. I'm going to let Tabnie finish off the show because she has some other ideas she'd like to share. And then at the end, I'll take us out. And then hopefully I'll be able to get back on from home next week. So Tabnie, you take it from here.
Well, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful update. I mean, your viewers need to know what's going on with you, how you're feeling inside and out. The two things that come to mind, number one, is I want to suggest that I think you should have a psychologist or a therapist as an episode of City Talk, because I would like to know, why do we always speak for our loved ones? Like you said, oh, I don't want her to do that. Oh, I don't want her to do. No, don't worry about that. Oh, well, I don't want to be a burden. Excuse you. Let your friends tell you. If you have good friends, they will say, hey, Deb, I don't have the capacity. Hey, Deb, I'm unable. Hey, Deb, I don't have the funds. But we do that as humans and speak for them, as to please don't, or I didn't want to do that. I think you should have a psychologist because that's worth 4 segments and diving into. I would love to listen to that. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
Then the second is the inside hurt. I know that well as a public figure. I've been more open over the last year and a half about my grief of losing one of my best friends and having to be a public figure and grieve on camera. I would never, ever want that for anybody in my life to go through. It was so difficult, and everyone just expects, right? Viewers are sometimes incredibly nasty and have no idea what we are battling as public figures. And then those who are not public figures, just any human, have that pause before you go off, before you send a nasty text or a nasty comment. Everything okay? Or what do you have going on? Or may I suggest, because we mask it, Deb, we're public figures. So who masks it better than someone who's always on the go and always in the limelight? That's a good, segment for the psychologist to dive in for our brains as well. But goodness, you just made so many good points about that in terms of never knowing the battles that someone is facing on the inside. And so great job to you for speaking up. Keep doing it, do it some more when you're tired, when you're unable, when you're exhausted, and also allow it. Do not say, well, you don't have to if you don't want. Allow it, because you got good people in your life who wouldn't offer if they were unable. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. So Christian, my friend I've known, our kids grew up together. She's works full time, mom, grandma, amazing. She's one of those friends who she's there. She's like everybody's go-to. She's bringing you food. And she said, she goes, I'm going to go bring you some food. I go, well, I really can't eat a lot. So she went and she made homemade like a squash, but she made it really thin so that I could have a healthy, nutritious soup. And I'm like, wow. And she brought me some tulips and she just left them at the door. I was sleeping, so I didn't hear the door. And so then, Georgia went down and got it. And I thought, how cool. And then she texted, it's at your door. I didn't want to, I don't want to bother you, but I'm going to come by this week. What else do you need? And she was normally I would have said, it's okay. Like, no, I'm good. And I said, no, thank you. Yes. And then I've gotten, really sweet cards and it just makes you feel, number one, loved and accepted, but it gives you the opportunity to let somebody else feel good.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we need to realize, that they're doing it. We're doing it for each other. We're holding each other up. And I can't wait till she comes by to visit. And I've had, other friends. I had a friend who brought me a chair, this chair I needed, because I'm in my podcast room and I had moved the desk. Well, Georgia moved it, and now you can't move it. So and she's going to be by today. She's going to come today, and we're going to go through my paperwork and make sure I'm caught up on that, because I just don't feel like doing anything, really. I'm just being honest. My brain is like wanting to just sleep, and I want to sleep, and I want to heal, and I feel guilty because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And the guilt is probably harder than anything for me, is the feeling guilty that I'm not out and about. But it's not safe for me to be out and about, because then I'm going to want to move too fast, or somebody will hug me too hard, or something. Or you just have to heal. But with what I really want you to share for the time we have left. Honestly, how are you actually feeling now that you being this smart, amazing woman and getting on planes and going to places you haven't been? Like, what is that like to just get on a plane and go to a new client and, okay, we're setting up the cameras? How does that feel?
Yeah, like I'm operating in my higher self. Like sometimes I don't know how I got to Phoenix, but I was there.
That's what I'm saying. How do you feel?
Blessed. I feel like I belong, though, Deb. As much as I have humility, let's not negate my experience. Let's not negate the supreme beings that guide us, our angels who have transitioned, who are like, okay, I've got you. This is what we have for you. So I feel like I belong, Deb. I really do. I feel like I belong. I know that I belong. I know that I am worthy. I know that I will do a good job. I know that I will serve your business, your brand, your corporation, whatever it is that you desire. I know I will do a good job. So even though it is I feel very sure, to answer your question.
Oh, I'm just really proud of you. And I know every guest, every host I have, I'm always thanking them and telling them I'm proud of them, because I am. And I think you can't tell somebody enough how grateful you are. Because sometimes I think we get busy and we do our thing and we have our friends we've had forever and ever and ever. And we forget that, we get on a path and we're like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to so-and-so in so long. I best take a step back and talk to them. So I'm going to leave it with thank you. Remember, together we're one heart. And Tabnie's, if there's any last thing you'd like to say to our listeners, now's the time to say it, because you're going to be a busy woman.
Yes. Email info@tabniedozier.com. I'm ready to expand. I'm looking for more corporate clients. I'm ready. Emmy Award-winning excellent service and just a good-hearted woman of integrity. I got you covered.
Okay.
Thank you, Deb. I love it so much.
I love you too. I can't wait to see what you are going to be up to this month. And it's About Town Deb and Tabnie. I hope to be back, not in the studio, but in my chair next week. About Town Deb with City Talk and Tabnie. See you next week.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers, and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.